E-commerce brand owners, I'm about to show you the proper way to convert 97% of the leads that don't buy from your store right away. Let me make myself small so you can see this. Alright, so now I'm small. So you're about to discover how utilizing opt-in funnels can turn unfathomable amounts of lost leads into lifelong customers. So let's get right into this. First of all, a small percentage will buy now, a large percentage will buy later. It's kind of like the overarching theme of all of this. So the reality of e-commerce is that only a small percentage of people will buy right away as soon as they find your brand and come to your store. This is just how things work out. It's just the facts. There's no point in fighting it. Now, there are a lot of people who will never buy from you, and there's a large percentage of people who have a likelihood of buying at some point in the future. You can picture this as three different groups of leads. So group one are those who buy right away upon learning about you. Group two is those who will never buy no matter what. These people will not buy from you. And then group number three are those who will buy at some point in the future, but it's not right away. Our goal is to turn all of group three into buyers. So a typical e-commerce store conversion rate sits around 2 to 3%. Some are lower than that. And that's what group one is. These are the people that buy right away. So you run an ad, they come to the website, they buy. Those are the people that make up this 2 to 3%. And then that means that 97 to 98% of your visitors hang in the balance. So we want to market to as many of them as possible, as often as possible. Now, how do we market to as many of these lost leads as possible? By capturing them into our email list. How do we capture as many of them as possible into the email list? By increasing the conversion rate of our opt-in funnel. How do we do that? By following what I'm about to go over in this video. So this is kind of like what the flow looks like. You have your traffic sources at the top, your paid ads, your organic content, your UGC stuff on TikTok, your affiliates, your SEO. These people funnel down into your website. Now, if you have an opt-in funnel set up, now you get to this point where you can actively market to these people, because a small percentage will buy now and a large percentage will buy later. So from your website, the small percentage will buy now. They become first-time buyers. But with the opt-in funnel, we get it to the point where we can actively market to a lot of these people over time and turn them into first-time buyers later on, because most people don't buy right away. They take time to scout it out and make sure it's going to be a good decision. So this video might get kind of long, but it's going to be worth it, because we're going to go through all this, and it's going to be literally everything you need. So website and opt-in. You can see this graph here shows the traffic sources to the website, opt-in, your email list, kind of what we just went over. So your opt-in form is your way of growing the email list consistently and predictably. Most people don't put any thought or energy into it. They treat it as some side thing. And that is a huge mistake, because it fuels your entire strategy that we're about to review here today. An effective opt-in form will take your traffic, convert 7 to 10% of them onto your email and SMS list by incentivizing them with a lead magnet. And you can think of that lead magnet as a bribe in exchange for the viewer's contact information. Below, we're about to get into the exact strategies and principles to utilize in your opt-in form. But it's important to understand the math behind the importance of this form. So the math behind an opt-in form, we're going to assume for this example that you bring 20,000 visitors to the site every 30 days. And then if your opt-in form only converts about 4% of these people, now you're bringing 800 new people onto your list every month. Not very good. But if you just make some key changes that you are about to learn in this guide and get the opt-in form to convert at an 8% rate, which is not that crazy, now you're bringing in 1,600 people to the list every month, and you've essentially doubled the production and value of your email and SMS efforts. We could go way deeper in this on the welcome series, but that's way more in the weeds on your exact numbers. But all you need to know is that you're doubling the amount of people that you bring onto your list every month, and that has a huge impact on just all the other stuff you're doing with your email marketing. So this is all just because of a few small tweaks to your opt-in form that converts from 4%, moves the conversion from 4% to 8%, and obviously it's extremely high leverage to fix your opt-in form. This graphic just shows exactly what I just went over. Now, the opt-in funnel. So people will be viewing your opt-in form in a certain order. So it's important that you understand the order that they're actually moving in. So we have an email opt-in. This is the first thing that they see. From here, if they opt in, they'll see the SMS opt-in. If you do SMS, then they would go to a success page. If they close the email opt-in, they'll see the teaser. Maybe they accidentally closed it. Maybe later on they decide they want to go back to it. Hit the teaser, then go back to it and continue. So I'm going to describe it as a funnel here. Like in this video, I'm describing it as the opt-in funnel, but it's really just steps. It's steps through this. So the typical structure you should use here is a teaser, email opt-in, SMS opt-in, and then a success page. Now, there are a ton of elements to test in an opt-in form, so just know going in that you should just get your best attempt up and running to start. Just get it running, and then test your way to an 8 to 10% conversion rate from there. Some audiences won't convert that high, some will, most will. But there are goals of each step of this funnel, and they all have different purposes. So each opt-in element from a high level, that's what we're about to go over. First, the teaser. So the purpose of the teaser is to get people to open the form up again after it's been closed. Some people will accidentally close it, want to go back to it like I was explaining earlier. That's what the teaser is there for. Typically, we will go with just a small circle or a rectangular tab in the bottom left, whether it's desktop or mobile, with just 3 or 4 words teasing the offer. Here's an example. Just unlock 17% off. Just shows what the offer is. I recommend not putting this teaser in the bottom middle because, especially on mobile, it can get in the way of buttons and just completely kill your conversion rate. Your teaser should only have 3 to 5 words so it can be read in a glance and just pique their curiosity enough to where they would go back and click it. Email opt-in. So obviously, this is the most important part of the form. The reason is because it's the first thing people will see when this form pops up on their screen. It's interrupting their process, so it's important you do it right. It should be engaging, simple, and should just grab their attention. Moving on, SMS opt-in. The purpose here is obviously self-explanatory, but the SMS opt-in can be tricky because in some cases, you may not do SMS or it isn't available to you or your product or your country, whatever it is. So then in this case, you would skip this step. But many brands trick the viewer in. So a lot of brands will take their SMS opt-in. They trick the viewer and they make them enter their phone number in order to get the original promised code. So the viewer thought they were going to get the code from giving their email, but now they see that they've been tricked and they have to give their SMS to get that original code. And that's a huge turnoff to them. Do not do that. You lose all trust when you do it that way. Last part is the success page. So this is essentially the first touch of welcoming them to the inner circle of the brand. You want to give them a call to action here, like shop on the site or whatever it is. We will go into more depth in one of the following pages. So now we're going to go, so far you've seen all the high level stuff that if you don't even know what an opt-in funnel is, now you know. Now we're going to go into the depths of each step and show you examples as well so that you actually know what you need to do this well. So first is the teaser. This is very, very simple. It should be anywhere from 2 to 5 words. It should simply just tease the offer. It's there for 2 reasons. 1, pique the curiosity of someone who already closed the form and wants another chance later on. And 2, allow people who accidentally closed the form to be able to go back and get to it. So as you can tell, it's not complicated. Here's another example. We pay for 15% just like that. Step 2, the email opt-in. This is the most important piece of this. So there's going to be more steps here and more information here. So there's 3 main elements here: the offer, copy, and design. This is the 3 elements of your whole form, and basically consider these 3 elements basically make up the success of it. So this is the most important part because this is what's popping up and interrupting their shopping experience. So it's important to nail it and get it right. Each of these 3 elements should be tested, and they should be tested in the order that they are listed above. And so in the following cards below here, we're going to go into each of the elements so that you're set up for success. So first is the offer. Your offer is the same as the lead magnet here. So you can think of it as your bribe for their contact information. So you want their email address and they want the lead magnet. It's just like an equal exchange of value. And all you can, actually, I take that back. You don't want it to be equal. You want to give them more value than their email is worth, which is very easy to do. So all you can really do here is pick something you're okay with giving away or offering, and then test different variations to see what performs the best. A nice tip I've learned is that you want to feel almost like uneasy about giving this thing away. Probably not if it's a discount, but if it's some giveaway or something, you should feel like almost uneasy about giving it away, because that means it's actually a really good thing that people would want. So you might ask, if the delivery of the lead magnet happens in the welcome series after the person opts in, how do you test the offer? Wouldn't you need 2 different welcome series? The answer is yes, and this is a way to do that. If you have more questions on this, drop a reply and I'll get back to you. But this is how you test 2 different offers in an opt-in. So first you have your opt-in form. You're going to have 2 variants, variant A and variant B. Variant A, when you set up the variant, you are going to set the button to submit to email list A. We're calling it list A for this example. Then variant B, you're going to have it submit to email list B. So they submit to different lists. And then each list will trigger their respective welcome series. So list A will trigger welcome series A, and then list B will trigger welcome series B. So that way the offer is aligned among each. And most people don't realize that you can do this, but each variant can submit to a different list. So obviously 2 variants, I just kind of explained all this, but yeah. Moving on to the copy. So your copy here should be as concise as possible while still making the offer attractive and clear. So you want as depth of an idea as possible, as deep of an idea as possible, depth of concept, but you want to keep it as concise as you can, because remember that you're interrupting these people. They don't want to sit here and read your thing. So, like I said, remember you're interrupting them, so they should be able to read this really quickly and it should catch their interest. Your headline should be extremely clear and easy to read. Now your subheadline should clearly state what they need to do or what's going to happen. So it should tell them to enter their email address so you can send them the code or the free PDF or the guide or the giveaway, whatever it is that you're selling. Other than this, the only other copy is the button and the no button. So your button is obvious. It'll just say submit or get 10% off or whatever your offer is. But your no text, you can get creative with. It should say something like, no thanks, I'll pay full price. That's just like a common go-to. Or something that makes them feel like they're missing out by clicking off. It should almost sound passive-aggressive. The reason for doing this is because if someone's about to go click no, and it says no, I'll pay full price, or no, I enjoy pain point, whatever the pain point is, it just makes them realize like, oh yeah, why would I turn this down? And it boosts conversions a lot. So do that. Next part of this is the design. So your design of your opt-in form is not too important, but it should be on brand and should be very clean. It being clean is probably the most important part of this. It should not have like a ton of crazy imagery going on. It should be very pleasing to the eye and attractive to look at. It's really important. So in the opt-in testing page below, you're going to get specific recommendations on what you could test here after you've tested your offer and copy, but we'll get into that later. But consider adding an image, consider if it should be dark or light, all that type of stuff. Above all, just keep it clean, keep it on brand, and like I said, keep it easy on the eyes, easy to digest. Moving on, next step of this is the SMS opt-in. So as previously mentioned in this document, do not bait and switch the viewer and make them sign up to SMS in order to get the offer that you said they would get by entering their email. That completely breaks all trust. And yeah, now that is out of the way, your SMS offer should be an upgrade to their original offer. So maybe you gave them 10% off at the email opt-in. Now you say, okay, you can upgrade to 15% off if you opt in for our SMS list. And you can also just say like, we'll give you exclusive discounts, whatever it is. If you don't want to upgrade their offer, you could just say that they will get exclusive deals. I just said that. You already know that part. Just say that they'll get exclusive deals, offers, early access to sales, whatever it is. But overall, just picture the SMS opt-in just like the email opt-in in terms of copy and design, and even the offer as well, like we already went over. So the last part of this is the success page. So you've already gotten their email, their SMS. Now they're on the success page. Now what? So now you've gotten them to your opt-in. You won. Like you've won if they're seeing this. All you have to do now is point them in the right direction. You should take this as a chance to like welcome them and be a pleasing brand. So your success page should either tell them to check their email inbox or check their text if you have the SMS opt-in form set up. Because keep in mind, if they're seeing the success page and you have an SMS opt-in, that means they opted into SMS. So you probably have to tell them to go check their text message. And a pro tip here is to add a keep browsing button, which just pushes them to your collections page, because you have 4 levels of abandonment on a website: site abandonment, browse abandonment, cart, and then checkout. So you may as well bring them from site to browse after clicking that button. It's just an easy way to keep them moving down the sales funnel. So now we're going to look at a few examples of this, just a couple of them. So these are a few swipes that my team and I have created that you can take just for inspiration because they're unique. So like this one, you can see it says want $100 off your bike, boom, 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 claim the discount. And then this one, we will take 17% off your first order. You can see no thanks, I will pay full price. This one's kind of funny because I guess it's not included here, but we had one in this one where it said no thanks, I'll stay stuck in traffic. So a couple examples here. Here's another example. Take 15% off your first order. Nice image here. This one's converting extremely well. Obviously all of them are. This is one last example where, actually we have more examples. This is where we added a question page, so we'll get into this soon, but it's something you can test. And basically it gives people an option to say yes, I want it, or no, I don't. And as soon as they click yes, they're way more likely to actually opt in. Then this is the actual opt-in that they got led to. Here's another example. We'll pay for 10%. There we go. Very clean, simple one that ended up performing well for them. Now, here's how to test your opt-in form. So there are 5 overall aspects to an opt-in form. You have the offer, copy, design, sequence, targeting, and rules. We already went over offer, copy, and design for the actual creative of the opt-in form, but now we're going to add sequence and targeting and rules for this testing section. So you could test them in that order, but honestly, the absolute most important aspect to nail down is the offer. So historically, that's the first thing we always test, and then the rest just comes after, and whatever sequence makes sense. But this is the overall best sequence to test them in. But before we move forward, I want to explain the technical aspect of testing your offer because it may seem really difficult to execute. So the way you're going to do this is by setting up a normal split test on the form, changing the copy however you need to change it, and having each variation submit to a different list. We went over this in the offer training or the offers section of this already, but then you're going to have different welcome sequences triggered by their respective list because it's split up. And they're going to deliver the offer that that person signed up for. You want to make sure that it's all aligned. So the only difference in the welcome series should be the actual offer that was changed. Everything else should be the constant. So only thing that's different is the thing that you offered them. That's it. All else should say the same. So below, I pretty much just listed some potential tests that you should run on each of these 5 opt-in aspects listed above. So we got offer, copy, design, sequence, targeting, and rules. So, starting with the offer, you could test 10% off versus X dollars off, which is 10% of the average order value. So this is a good move if you want to. So let's say your average order value on your site is $50, or let's say it's $100 for this example. You would take 10% of the average order value, which would be $10 in this case, and then you would test 10% off versus $10 off. You can do that because this is 10% anyways of the average order value, so over time it would equal out to 10% off anyways, but some people will respond better to $1 off instead of a percentage. You could also test 10% off versus 15% off or any other percentage and just see if the extra 5% discount is worth the extra number of opt-ins that you generate. So in some cases these will be equal, and then you would obviously just choose the 10% off because you don't have to give as much of a discount. Then another one for the offer is a percentage off versus a free PDF resource or guide. Like if you're a fitness brand or company, doing a free PDF resource is going to work really well for you. Next is the copy. So pretty simple here. You could try being aggressive versus less aggressive, subheader versus no subheader. And it's like for this example, we did subheader versus no subheader, and obviously no subheader won here. So that's another thing you can test, as well as a more detailed headline versus just a really simple 3 to 5 word headline. As far as design goes, you can test dark versus light, so like the background color, image versus no image, or bright colors versus black and white colors or more dim colors. As far as the sequencing goes, you could test adding an extra question step to the beginning that says something like, do you want 10% off? That's what we did right here for this brand. We added this question step, so you could rip that if you want. Moving on. For targeting and rules, a common one to test here is 8-second time delay versus a 30-second time delay, or you could test as far as like a minute or 10 seconds, whatever it is. Just see what works best for your audience. And that's about it. So, by the way, before I get into this, the whole document here is going to be linked in the YouTube video here, or if you're viewing this from the document, you already have it. But we do everything that you just read about, or that you just listened to me talk about in this training for our clients every single month, and we've been able to generate some amazing results because of it. We offer done-for-you email and SMS marketing, and we guarantee to boost your monthly email and SMS revenue $30,000 to $100,000 in just 60 days, or you'll be refunded in full. If that sounds interesting to you, I'm going to link this document in the description of this YouTube video, so you can go and click here, and I'll also leave links in the description to book the free call with me. But you can click here, book a free consultation call with me. The call is not for me to hard sell you. It's simply just a chance for me to understand your business, your brand, and see where or how we can help you out and create more profit for you on a monthly basis. So hit the link in the description or just click here on the doc to book a call with me today. And if you are on the fence about it, you can check out these interviews that I did with some of our clients. So you can just scroll through these, watch these YouTube videos, check those out, see the results we got for them. Another thing I want to note is that in the description, I'm going to leave a link to my newsletter. There's 5 times a week we send super valuable emails to that newsletter. And I highly suggest, if you're in e-commerce at all, whether you own a brand or you work with e-com brands or you like copywriting, whatever it is, highly recommend you jump on that newsletter. And yeah, that's all I got for you. Hit the link in the description. Hit the link on this doc if you're watching this from a doc. And I'll talk to you soon.